Guys, welcome to Kickback and Chill. I'm your host, DNYC, and we the only show where you can kick back, relax, and have some fun here in Midtown, New York City. I'm super excited and pumped up because this got somebody to bring to stage, the editor who's known for editing some projects on Netflix, feature films, and documentaries as well. Plus, it's our first time at the function, and it's only right I hear about success. You show some love for killafran. I figured I'd switch it up on this one. What's going on?
How are you?
Have a go. Have a seat. Have a seat. Oh. Killafran, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Is this your first interview?
It's not, but it's one of a couple of firsts, so
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Well, welcome to the function. I was super excited about this. I got to give a shout out to Stash because he was able to plug us in.
Yeah,
so, from the live interview. But man, let's just jump straight in. You know, it's like in this film industry, you hear a lot of people talk about being a producer, being a director, and being an actor or actress, right? You chose the route of becoming an editor. I'm curious to know what made you want to choose this one as opposed to all the other ones. Very different and unique.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think I would be in front of the camera doing what you're doing, like interviewing people, hosting. Yeah. I really wanted to get into broadcast journalism, even sportscasting. But for some reason, I think the skill set of editing was just always there. Growing up, my high school had a TV studio course. And that was the first introduction that I had to, you know, just creating some type of visual medium in a studio setting. So I was able to take that class my last 2 years of high school. I started getting recognized for little things that I would edit here and there. And then, you know, my teacher pulled me aside. He's like, you have something here, you know, like you're winning awards, you're being recognized, like maybe you should follow through with it. Going to college, still thought I would do the journalism route, but like halfway through I switched. I was like, no, yeah. It's also something comforting about just being in your own little space, your own bubble.
Be creatively free.
Yeah, be creatively free. You know, no one's feeding you lines, no one's telling you everything to do. You know, there's a collaborative element to it where everyone has an input, but you at the end of the day, especially as an editor and working in documentaries, you kind of do some writing yourself too. So it's a lot of creative input that I get to have, and I just feel like not only did it kind of come naturally to me, but it's also calming. You know, I like to organize things already, and that's kind of what editing is, very tedious. You know, you're putting all these things together.
Extremely tedious.
Yeah, extremely tedious. Sometimes I get a headache, but yeah, it's something that I've just grew to really love.
Yes, absolutely. Visual storytelling is very unique. I always tell people that that's a skill you have to master. It's not something you can just throw a bunch of clips together, right? Like you said, it's very tedious, right?
So tedious.
So I'm curious to know, what was the first project you worked on as an editor? What was that process like? And was that first day you realized, okay, this is gonna be a journey for me if this is something I wanna continue?
Yeah, I mean, you know, in this industry, sometimes you really have to pay your dues and hustle your way up to the top. So I was working as an assistant editor for a couple of years, maybe like 5 to 6 years before eventually getting my first opportunity to edit on Stamped from the beginning. It just came out in September of last year. This was my first official editor credit, which was major. And it couldn't have been more than a dream, honestly. Not only was it the longest project I've ever worked on, but it was the most fulfilling because it was based off of a book that I had just finished reading. Yeah, I felt like everything aligned right up to where it was. I was able to work with an editor that I used to be an assistant for, and yeah, so it was really cool. He got to experience me in that dynamic. I got to experience him in this dynamic, this time as like a co-editor and as opposed to being an assistant. So yeah, that grind.
I love how you did.
Working that way up.
Okay, cool. Do you feel like because of social media, because it's so big in today's day and age, thank God.
Yeah.
Well, it has pros and cons. Do you feel like the social media is definitely exposed more like editors, screenwriters and so much more? Do you feel like if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't get the respect and attention that they deserve?
Yeah, I think so. Social media is a very powerful tool, and depending on how you use it, you know, that recognition is just gonna come. You have people who are normally behind the scenes, you know, sharing their day-to-day, sharing like just, you know, short videos on how to do what they do on the daily. And you know, it's interesting to see. When you're seeing it in like a 10-second video or 30-second video on social media, it looks fascinating, but you don't even realize how long it takes to make those things. And to also break down your process and having a tool like social media to showcase that, it's like people are gonna click on it and be like, oh, what's this? And it also helps people realize the roles that are out there for them. Like, you know, I didn't even know that, you know, I had to be an assistant editor to become an editor. Like, there's certain roles that I didn't know existed. In this industry, there's a role for everything. So if you're on social media and you hold a role that's usually, you know, overseen or behind the scenes a little bit, you know, post it on your story, talk about it, tell people what you do. No, seriously, tell people what you do.
It's kind of like be social, like tell people.
I had people be like, when are you gonna tell me you edited? And I was like, well, I didn't think I had, like, I didn't think it was something to tell people. But just, you know, stuff like this, being on shows like this and just being able to speak about what I do, it shows that there is an interest, and I couldn't be more grateful.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of, you know, editing, let's talk about, you know, one of the projects, High on the Hog. Did I pronounce it right?
High on the Hog, yeah.
Yes, yes. Now, it won a critical acclaim, but I'm kind of talk to me about like the documentary process, you know, like the editing and everything. Yeah. Was that one hard, you know?
Honestly, I think, okay, so they're all hard in their own way. Okay. But I think that project was more so fun because it was based off of food and how, you know, African Americans had to create not only their own culture, but their own cuisine based off of things that, you know, from the motherland. And I worked as an assistant editor on that project on the first season, episodes 1 and 3. And I just remember the first time we got the footage back for episode 1, they shot in Africa. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And I was just excited right then and there. I was assisting one of my mentors, Ephraim Kirkwood. He was one of 3 editors on that project, I believe. And you know, he's always throwing little scenes my way and making sure that I had the opportunity to get my toes wet and edit away. And you know, that also helped me show the production company that I was working for what I can do, you know, and that was, you know, a driving force in me even getting an editor credit like a year and a half later.
Dope.
Yeah.
So how does that work? So the production company has idea from the film. They notify you in advance. Then you receive the footage. You make the necessary adjustments. Then you speak with the producers and directors.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work?
Well, it's kind of like any job, really. Like, you go, you interview for it, and you don't know about the project when you're interviewing for it. And then they tell you what it's about, and you assess if you want to work on it or not. And you know, sometimes there's multiple editors, sometimes there's one, sometimes there's multiple assistants, sometimes there's only 2. And you know, it's a team environment, it's a very collaborative environment. So everybody's job is important, nobody's job is too small. As soon as they finish shooting in the field, that footage comes in and the assistant editor will take it, organize it, create the project, bring that footage in and start organizing everything, like pulling certain B-roll shots for the editor to work with. And that just makes what we do as editors a lot easier when we have that extra help. And you know, there's treatments, there's outlines, the whole 9. So it's a collaborative environment. We're constantly in communication with producers, constantly in communication with story producers who are doing a lot of writing. And we have archival teams, because in documentary, you're always working with footage from the past or just images from the past. So we have teams allocated for that. Like, everyone's role is super important. And there's also lots of research that you have to do.
Absolutely.
Lots of research.
Yeah, you have to, because you don't want to be just putting things together.
Yeah,
you don't know what
and you don't know what you're doing, and then they gotta fact check you every 5 seconds.
Damn. Okay, cool. Kind of want to switch gears again. Let's talk about Stamps from the Beginning.
Okay.
Based on a book, right?
Yes.
Was it hard to maintain a visual element, being that it's coming from a book, or do you feel like because of the book, everything was able to flow properly?
Yeah, I mean, well, Stamped is a very thick book, Stamped from the Beginning. It's by an author, Ibram X. Kendi, shout out to him. He's an amazing writer. Yeah, it's a book that basically just analyzes racist ideas throughout history and how those ideas influence policy and how those policies always have a trickle-down effect and just directly affect the Black community here in America. So, you know, we were just going through each each of these myths, I think we narrowed it down to like 5 different sections, myths surrounding the Black community, and how those myths and stereotypes just shape how other groups of people view you.
Absolutely.
And they use that to kind of police you in a way, and like contain you or make you feel like there's something wrong with you. And that project in itself was a beast, you know. Visually, we had maybe like 10 VFX scenes planned out, and then in the end we ended up narrowing it down to 3, because it was like we didn't want it to be super excessive. If you read the book, there's a lot more characters in the book than there are in the film, of course. Like everything can't make it in. But you know,
That's the down part. I'm sorry to cut
you
off.
off.
No, the down part is because I have a friend who used to do like, you know, work on series and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when they would film, they'll capture all these scenes, but someone's not gonna make it.
Yeah.
And an actor would feel like, damn, like I was here, I was excited, feel like it's my opportunity, but they didn't keep it.
Yeah.
But the harsh reality is things like that happen. I feel like in this film industry, not only is it competitive, but there's always something that's unexpected that can either piss you off or make you happy.
Yeah.
You know, so I agree. That's why I love how you mentioned, like, hey, everyone's role is important. Because maybe they may use that role for maybe an extended clip. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You never know. You truly never know. And I feel like I experienced that a lot as an editor too, where you feel as though, what was it that you just said? You said there was something you just said, there was like a specific point that you hit. It just fled my mind.
How the film industry is like unexpected sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like you said, you have to be like
quick to pivot.
So like as an editor, you are editing scenes and you know, you're basing all of this off of an outline or just notes given from above. And sometimes they're like, okay, you did this great edit, but it's just not working. Like it's not that the edit is horrible, but like it's just not fitting the entire film. And I think working on Stamped, that was the biggest thing that I learned is sometimes it's not that something is bad, it's that it's not helping serve the purpose of the story. And that there's a lot of that shifting going on as you edit, of like figuring out what's gonna make it in and what's not. And it's not necessarily that it sucks or anything, it's just, it's not helping serve the larger story.
Damn.
Yeah.
So would you say that it's hard staying true to like the director's vision, all while adding your creativity, your own spice to it to make it feel complete?
I think it varies. I think on Stamped in particular, I didn't really have that issue. It was such a collaborative environment. Like we were able to not only, you know, just do the editing, but we were also able to, you know, give ideas for different archival pieces to include. I don't know if you've seen the film yet, but it's a lot of pop culture moments, just things that I remember from watching like E! News and TMZ and things like that growing up, and certain cartoons, because these stereotypes are embedded in that. And you know, it's in the things that we watch, it's in the media that we consume, and sometimes we don't even realize that it's having this effect on us subconsciously. And I think that's why Stamped is super powerful, because it's like you're seeing all these racist ideas throughout media, and you don't realize it, but it is shaping how you think of other groups of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to ask this. Every time I hit you, it seemed like you was always at a film festival. You was always somewhere, right? Can you share with us maybe like a memorable moment at this film festival and you was just like, oh my God, thank you. Like you feel like this really helped, you know, your career?
I will say going to Toronto, the Toronto International Film
I remember
Festival.
that one. Tell me about that one.
Oh my goodness, it was incredible. Not only was it my first time outside of the country, even though it's Canada, it's right there, it was just very surreal for me. Using my passport for the first time finally. And I just remember.
I've never been out the country too, so
really?
we in the same boat. We in the same boat, okay.
But it was just cool because for the first time I was at a festival for something that I edited in its entirety, like from beginning to end with a co-editor. It's like, you know, we got to sit there and be like, this is our baby. Like, this is something that we got to...
Like, we did this.
Yeah, we did this from start to finish. And to see it recognized, to be in a room or just several rooms with other creatives as well, watch their content, watch their films, and we're just feeding off of each other. The energy was so high. You know, it was just one big celebration. Like, we weren't there to necessarily win anything. It was just there to, like, get the film out. You know, we premiered there, too, so it was the first time it was ever shown. And yeah, it was just magical, like just being in all of these events and just being able to also walk the streets of Toronto. Everything was shut down for the festival. Yeah, so it was great.
You felt exclusive, right?
I felt very exclusive. It was like there was concerts going on, comedy shows, mixers. It was just awesome. It was really awesome. And it was so many subgroups as well. Like in this industry, there's like Brown Girl Doc Mafia, and I forgot the other one. There's just a number of different groups and organizations that had events up there too. And you know, I'm in them here in New York, but to have that transcend state lines and country lines, it's like, you know, and meet other people from other countries too who do what you do.
Absolutely.
It was really cool.
Dope, man, major congrats to you.
Thank you.
Okay, cool. I have to ask, I know you're an editor, but do you ever feel like sometimes you want to transition to maybe other titles, maybe like a producer, a director? Because I'm pretty sure you have film ideas. There's no way you're just an editor and you just be sitting there editing.
Oh yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so it's funny that you asked that because I definitely want to direct. Like, I think that's gonna be my next step. I do want to get more editor credits under my belt first because it's my first love. But I'm already, you know, starting. You know, brainstorming documentaries with a group of friends, and we're trying to get that off the ground. And I'm editing a sizzle reel for that. So it's like, you know, if I had the opportunity to direct it, of course I'm gonna take it, you know? You know, because it's like the editing will always be there. It's my first love. It's my strong point. And, you know, sometimes it's like you want to sharpen other skills too. So definitely want to direct one day.
You throw me in as an
Absolutely.
actor.
Come to set.
All right, listen, we're gonna take a quick break, okay?
Okay.
But up next, we got Young Benny Plus. Special performance by him, man. It's been a minute since I've seen him. I know he's gonna kill the stage, so keep it locked and stay tuned.
Awesome.
How you feel about the interview?